Have you ever felt uneasy? Maybe you were worried about something to the point where it dominated all of your thoughts. Maybe you channel stress through your body, getting body aches and an upset stomach. Do you ever get filled with a sense of dread? This is anxiety. Like all things, it exists on a continuum. Everything from butterflies in the stomach before a presentation to acute panic attacks. Anxiety and stress are uncomfortable and unpleasant feelings. When they are related to trauma and flashbacks, they can be emotionally crippling experiences. So does anxiety mean that there's something wrong with us? Is there a reason it exists? Let's look briefly at the biology behind it. When we first begin to experience anxiety, the reptilian portion of the brain becomes active. This includes the brainstem, the amygdala, and the cerebellum. This regulates heart rate, breathing, body temperature, and balance. It also regulates fight, flight, and freeze. This happens autonomically before any higher executive functioning can occur within the brain. You don't want to think about pumping blood, you just want to do it. This is so an organism can quickly react to life-threatening events. The brain pumps adrenocorticotropic hormones throughout the body. This adrenaline gives you the strength needed for fight, flight, and freeze. High amounts of adrenocorticotropic hormones can actually make you feel sick unless resolved. Have you ever had a panic attack that persists so long that it made you feel nauseated? This is resolved primarily through expending adrenaline and cortisol through the fight, flight, and freeze process, as well as the oxygen that you take in while doing it. It activates the parasympathetic nervous system, increasing glucose to the muscles. The adrenocorticotropic hormones give you extra strength. They can temporarily numb pain, but they can also temporarily shut down the immune system, which is why chronic stress impacts your ability to fight off illness. When we explore how the process of anxiety occurs, then the meaning becomes clear. The fight, flight, and freeze response is evolutionary and essential to our survival as a species. It gives us the ability to manage life-threatening situations. The ones who survived procreated and passed on these genes to subsequent generations. So in a sense, you could argue that nature selected for those with anxiety. So that's all good and well if you're a cave woman running from a saber-toothed tiger. But what if you're sitting at a desk and anxiety hits you after a paperwork deadline is changed? Your reptilian brain perceives something as a threat. It's autonomic after all. It hasn't thought any deeper about this. Your brain is releasing adrenocorticotropic hormones. That gives you the sensation associated with anxiety. It's essential to regulate hormone release and quickly move from the autonomic responses in the reptilian brain to the higher level executive processing in the neocortex. As discussed, in the reptilian brain we have three options: fight, flight, and freeze. In the neocortex we have endless ways to manage a situation. However unpleasant panic associated with the fight, flight, and freeze response is, we cannot abandon it. In a life-threatening crisis, it will give us physiological tools needed to protect our livelihood. We do not want to live in this state, though. The key to this transition into executive brain functioning lies in relaxation techniques. Deep breathing techniques, exercise, prayer, meditation, yoga, distraction techniques, and such promote a parasympathetic nervous system response. Resolving the adrenaline and cortisol in your body will free yourself from the perceived imprisonment of anxiety. Our anxiety doesn't just give us tools to manage a life-threatening event. It also motivates us, in healthy doses at least. That fear of failing a test will motivate us to study harder. That fear of being alone may push us to ask someone on a date. That fear of existential meaninglessness drives us for greater things. It motivates us to get off the couch and become more productive. Only when anxiety crosses the threshold of inhibitory does it warrant concern. That's where we stop and ask ourselves, are my fears driving change or preventing me from realizing my goals? While anxiety is natural and essential, when coupled with depression or low self-esteem, it can be crippling to our self-determination. Is our perception of reality being skewed by cognitive distortion? Is it driving us to depend on short-term maladaptive solutions to escape a foreboding sense of dread? We must understand that the experience of anxiety is natural, however unpleasant that it might be. It's largely unavoidable for the general population, but it exists on a continuum. Evaluate whether or not it is ultimately pushing you or holding you back from your accomplishments. If it is holding you back, or if it's rooted in feelings of inadequacy, seeking help may be in your best interest. If there's anything that's been discussed in this video that you want to hear more about, leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for listening and take care.